Now, if you're looking to start a Skool community or you've literally just started one, then there are a number of things that you really need to think about as you grow. So the things that you want to do in the beginning to ensure that your community is going to be successful. Now, I've been on the Skool platform for about a year and a half. I've tested out a number of different communities with different formats, and I've also worked with clients to help them get theirs set up. And after studying these and seeing what works and what doesn't, I've come up with these 10 points that I think are going to be helpful for you as you get started and as you start growing your community. So these are things that you really want to think about and plan out as you get moving in the beginning. So the first one is that you want to decide if your community is going to be about information or it's going to be about community first. So what do I mean by this? Basically, if it's about information, then it's a lot more like an online course. So sort of one and done. Are people going to come in, consume the information and be done? They would have got what they needed, scratch the itch, and there's no more reason for them to stay. In which case, your Skool community might be more of an online course with a community attached, which is absolutely fine, but you do have to realize that if you're going for a subscription model, then you're going to struggle to keep people in the community once they've consumed that information. So you may want to do annual or one-time payments to be able to get that money up front. So once they consume the information, they aren't just going to leave straight away and leave you after the first month. So you want to decide if it's going to be community first. And if it is going to be community first, then that's what you need to be really focusing on. The sort of networking, the bond, the benefits of the community inside. So yeah, have to think about whether it's an online course basically or whether you're going to be community driven. Point number 2 is, do you have a clear goal for your community? So do you have a clear benefit or reason that they should sign up and potentially pay you money? What is the outcome that you're promising for people? Now, obviously, if it's just the community itself, then there will be some benefits there. But even then still, you have to give people a reason to sign up because they're going to be paying you one way or another. They're either going to be paying you with time and energy and turning up and showing up in the community, or they're going to be paying you with money, or both. So you really have to make it worth people's time because people these days have a low attention span and they really want to be benefit driven. What are you doing for me? What have you done for me lately? And really retaining people inside is going to be much easier if you have a common goal that unites people. So this could be, say, learn French in 90 days. So therefore, I can see I'm going to learn French, or at least be fluent, basic to a level of French in 90 days. So it's a clear goal and outcome, and it gives me a reason to sign up, because if I want to learn French and I want to do it quickly, then the benefit is clear, and that would be the reason I would sign up. So you really want to have a clear goal, ideally, for your community. Obviously, if it's going to be an online course, maybe it's not a fixed period of time and so on. But ideally, with whatever you're doing, there is some type of goal or something that unites people around a common goal so that they can all be focused on that together, and that will unite them inside the community. Point number 3 is that you want to keep it simple. Churn is where people leave, and one of the main reasons people leave your community is because they get overwhelmed. So maybe you're giving away too much information. We like to call this value dumping, and it's something that used to be seen as a good thing in the past. So when I started sort of 11 years ago online, people would give more and more value, and that was seen as being a benefit. So I would give you hundreds of videos, and that would be seen as a good thing. 100 videos on this, much more training on this. And these days, people don't want that. Information is seen as, lower quality. AI can give you information very quickly, and nobody wants to spend hours going through tons of different courses. So you really want to keep things simple. Ideally, I recommend that you have one program inside your classroom and nothing else. The rest would be potentially calls or just the community itself. But by adding more, people don't feel like they're getting the value, or they feel overwhelmed and they just leave. So it's actually one of the main reasons that people leave. But also keeping things simple and fun and making it so that they can get small wins quite quickly. I think this is a good one. Small wins quite quickly. Because if you're doing anything and you're getting into it, you're always still doubting if you can do it or whether it's going to work for you. And you really want to see something quickly, some results. It doesn't have to be the big dream, the big end goal yet, but as quickly as possible, get me a small win. Because once you see something works, you trust more, you believe more, and you get more passionate, and you're willing to invest more time and energy into it. So normally I see that if you can somehow get people, so even coming back to the French idea, if you could get it so that I could do a few words or say a few different things quite quickly, and or combine sentences quite quickly, then I may feel that as, wow, look at me, I'm actually kind of speaking French. So therefore, I would see the benefit. So how can you get me small wins quite quickly? So whatever it is your niche is, you want to try and get a small win of some kind as quickly as possible. So less is more. Don't overwhelm people. Get them a small win as quickly as possible. Number 4 is that pain, passion, and urgency carry value when it comes to making sales. So if you can fix someone's pain, or you can create some form of urgency within your community to get people to buy, or within your offer, or you can fix a problem, or you can tap into people's passion, then you're more likely to make a sale. If it just sounds nice, but there's no pressure on me to buy, then I'm potentially not going to buy. So you really want to tap into demand rather than trying to create demand. So creating demand will still make some sales, but you're better off just tapping into demand, such as fishing. Go to where the fish are, not a random place on the river. You actually want to tap into demand if you can do it. So for example, if I was to fix your back pain, fixing my back pain, I'm in pain, it's something I want to urgently fix. If you can help me with that, then that's fantastic. If you can help me pass an exam, that would be great. I would love to pass an exam. It could be that if you're into sports, let's say paddle, and you wanted to increase your paddle level for status benefits because you're a beginner and you want to be able to play at an intermediate level, then you could obviously say to people, then I'm going to help you reach higher intermediate level from a beginner in the next 30 days. So that would be something that would be a form of urgency or desire for passion. And then it could also be a desire or outcome that people want in an urgent fashion. Could be, say, to help you get beach body ready before the summer. So it's got a time limit on it again. There's a degree of urgency. So tapping into people's passions, people's urgencies, and people's pains will make for a more passionate audience who there's a degree of urgency behind the desire and the things that they want. So they're more likely to get their credit card out, they're more likely to buy your products and services, and they're more likely to join your community in the first place. Number 5 is, what is your retention plan? Now, we now know that if you're doing a subscription model, then retention is always an ongoing problem. You're always losing people, and hopefully you're adding them faster and in greater numbers than you're losing them. So the idea is that you want to keep people for as long as possible because you're going to make more money. If you're always adding people in and you're losing them at almost the same speed, then you're never going to be able to compound your community and make the big money. So you have to basically be plugging the holes like a leaky bucket to stop people from leaving, while also filling that bucket in the first place so it goes up. But otherwise, if there's a hole and the water's coming out, then it's always going to be going down or just staying the same as one water comes in and one water goes out. So we need to try and have a retention plan. So as you start, you've got to think about how can we keep people inside this community? And that could be increasing your price over time. So maybe you started at an introductory $10 rate and then gradually increased it all the way up to $100. Well, now people know that if they leave, they have to come back at the new price, and therefore they lose the granddad price. So a lot of people would actually keep that. There's actually a software at the moment that I'm not using, and I wanted to cancel a couple of months ago, but I'm still paying it because I'm on a grandfathered rate. And if I come back, I'll be paying twice the price. So it just doesn't really make sense. I need to be 100% sure I'm going to leave. So I may leave next month, but they've already gotten 2 or 3 extra months out of me because I was still sort of trying to decide if I want to leave. So increasing the price can work. And also increasing or limiting the number of people that you're going to have in the community in the first place. Maybe you don't increase the price, but you set a cap. Or you gradually increase the price a little bit, but you also set a cap. So you could say there's never going to be more than 100 people, 1,000 people in this community. And then that means that there's a waiting list for people to join. So if people leave, you could say I can allow 10 more people in, but never more. So in and out. And if you leave, you can't get back in. You're on the waiting list. So therefore, again, you then have a retention plan so people they're not going to be wanting to leave as much. You obviously could then produce ongoing value, which is what most people do, and I think this is a great thing. You can do ongoing value, but you just have to make sure that you're not getting entrapped by putting way too much time into a community that doesn't generate the revenue for that return. So obviously, we want to over-deliver, but you want to be able to make some money in the first place. So the value thing, you really want to just come up with a community idea and structure that doesn't tie you into having to do crazy amounts of over-delivering to keep people. But ongoing value of some kind that is new content. So perhaps you are, say, a crypto community and you were talking about the latest coins and giving people news and information on a regular basis, and that information was valuable and saved people time, then I would stay. So if there was ongoing benefit, or it could just be the community itself, people have friends in there, they network and they want to stay, then there's ongoing value. So that is ongoing value will obviously tie people in. Or you could tie in a service. Now, if you tied in a service of some kind, then you'd have people retaining because they don't want to lose that service that is attached. So you could tie in a service, you could tie in a software, you could tie in support or something else that is directly linked to the community. So therefore, they, even if they're not getting the benefits from the other part, they don't want to cancel the community because they would lose the service itself as well. And obviously those services can go up and down in levels from high ticket down to sort of mid, or depending on what it is that you're actually doing inside. And then you could also drip feed content. This is one that I really like. So coming back to the idea of, say, the French, learning French in 90 days, if you can do a program of some kind that is drip fed, and by drip fed I mean slowly unlocked different lessons day by day over a longer period of time. It doesn't work with everything, because if it's information and I'm a business and I just want that information quickly because I've set aside 1 week to learn this information, then you're falling into the online course part and you would annoy them. But if it's something that people can learn over time and it's actually beneficial for them to go a bit slower and you drip feed the content, then that's the ideal in a way, because you could then have a long program that would keep retention to, say, 3, 4, 5 months minimum. Then it's that way, okay, whenever someone joins, on average, I'm going to have them for above 5 plus months. So drip feeding content and having a longer program will also make that easier. So you want to have a retention plan in place. Number 6 is, how much time do you have? Because running a community, and an active one, and making sure that it doesn't go dead, requires you being the leader. Now, the more you can empower people inside the community, the more they will start to answer questions, and the community will become alive without you having to be the leader at the top and being like a pyramid. It becomes more of a sort of organic part where you start lots of conversations and just chime in here and there, but the community becomes a live organism, and that should be the goal. However, you still need to show up. And I think really to have an active community as they get bigger, you need to be popping in there for an hour a day if you can. An hour a day. It doesn't mean you can't take days off, because people understand that. But just try to show up a little bit each day and try to answer the questions and start conversations so that the community keeps going. Because I have noticed that even the most active community, it still needs people driving it forward. And if your active members have a slow week, then there's no one pushing it forward. And if you haven't been paying attention, then things can go quiet. So it's better off that you know that you're going to be able to dedicate some time to managing that community, keeping it alive and nurturing it. But I think if you can do it on less than an hour, depending on how active you want. But I think taking the mindset of being able to show up throughout the day, here and there, or just an hour one time, I think that's a good amount. So you really need to make sure you've got some time to manage this. Number 7 is, what is your plan to get members inside the community? This is going to be your source. So what is going to be your main source of traffic? Getting people into the community. And my favorite source of traffic is YouTube. And this is what we teach our members. This is what we do ourselves. And if you would like more information on that, I will put a link to our community in the video description. It's completely free. It will give you training on setting up your Skool community and filling it with YouTube. So again, I'll put a link or a QR code on this video that you can scan and go straight through to our free community. However, you do need a main traffic source. You need some traffic source. You will get some signups within the Skool community itself if you're ranking well in discovery, but it's not necessarily reliable. I would say that that's a nice benefit. So you really do need one main traffic source with your community, because Skool communities, and generally any type of online information business, you're going to have, it's a simple 2-step model. You have the platform that you nurture people with, which is Skool. So some way to get people in. Often it was email marketing in the past and so on. But now we sort of have this hub, this information hub, this creative hub where we can bring everybody together. And that is Skool, which is actually much better because it can be email and everything all in one place. But then you need attention. So it's your attention and your offer, if we will. And this has never changed, but you need the attention. Without the attention, then this goes nowhere. You're not going to fill this up. So you really need to make sure that you have a good source of regular traffic and views or attention coming towards your community, so you can have a stream of new people coming in. If you don't get enough new blood consistently, then communities can die as well, because at some point people get tired of talking to themselves or talking to the same people. You do need fresh blood coming in a little bit every now and again. Number 8 is what makes you unique. So what makes your community and your brand or your business special? What makes you stand out? Now, I don't mean that you have to do something wacky or crazy or really go to the extreme, but you do want to try and stand apart. And this is the same for your YouTube channel. I think you always need a slight angle. You being turning up and showing up on camera and your opinions and your views will automatically make your channel and your community slightly different. But if you can come up with another tiny angle, even a small amount different, that can make the difference between a community doing well and a community exploding. A good example of this is Anime Shreds. Now, Anime Shreds is just basically a fitness and weight loss program that helps especially men, I think, get into shape and get that sort of anime-shaped body. But that was the difference. That linking it to anime and sort of anime heroes and characters in those cartoons, which is a very male... Men love anime. So therefore, they would immediately in their brain visualize the type of lean, strong, fit body, really ripped body that anime characters have. So you visually painted a picture, and then by taking some pictures of him in anime outfits and samurai swords and stuff like that, that little small angle, which is basically almost a very small difference, but just a branding angle, really made a huge difference. And it paints a visual picture of what the outcome will be if you join the community and then you stick around and you put in the work and time. So that small difference can make you unique. So if you've got a quirk or a unique angle or something that you can just do slightly differently, then that will make your community and your YouTube channel stand out even more. Number 9 is a massively important one, and it's proof. Now, you may have heard people go on about this in the past, and there's so many videos talking about proof, but basically online, everything comes down to proof these days. I've been selling for about 11 years online, and it's only gotten harder as things have gotten noisier and busier, and trust has gone down. Because there's a lot of AI and a lot of fake stuff, I would say in the last year it's dramatically gone down, and trust is at an all-time low. And that's why communities are such a powerful thing, because it's an opportunity for you to build trust. But if you don't have proof, people won't get out their credit card. Trust is already low to just sign up to a community for free. They don't know you. This is like walking up to a stranger and someone going, hey, come in my house, And you're going, no, I don't think so. But then if you said, no, it's not a house, it's a restaurant, and here's a sign, and here's some pictures of the food, and look in the window, there's actually lots of people inside, and they're eating and enjoying themselves, you go, oh, okay, fine, okay, that makes sense. I'll come in. That's some proof. I believe that you're a restaurant and you're not just a dodgy person trying to get me in off the street, and I'll come into your restaurant and I'll eat, and maybe I'll give you some money. So communities and selling online products is exactly the same. They have to know, like, and trust you. The more proof you have, the easier it is to sell hands off. So much like a sales call, a community, especially a free one, is a way for you to nurture and build that trust without being salesy. So most of us are crappy at sales and marketing and so on. So keeping things simple and just organically getting people to know you and trust you and like you will make things easier. But you still need some trust, and the more trust you get, the more you can start to potentially charge on the front end for your community. So if you don't have any proof, be it proof of you doing something or proof of you getting results for other people, then that should be your main focus. Like, you should work for free, and you should just go and get an abundance of proof and put a lot of time into doing that, and just see it as an investment in your business. When you start a business, everybody says you need to invest in a business. It's not always an investment of money. It's an investment of time, energy, and getting the relevant resources that you need to make the business grow and succeed. And when it comes to information products and online products in general, proof is your investment. That is worth its weight in gold. If you have half a dozen people that are saying the exact result that you promise on, say, the About page of your Skool community, then you are going to get people signing up at a huge rate of knots, because now you can sell it. You have the proof. The results are there. People are singing and saying, because otherwise, even if you, say, have a ripped body, they believe that you could do it for yourself, but can you do it for me? So you having the proof in your own body will be enough for me to go, okay, I'll listen to this guy, but I don't know if I'm going to pay this guy yet. So you still will get some paying. But if you then got that ripped body and then you had 10 other people saying he also got me the same ripped body, that's it. It's done. And that's how you can make a lot more money online, by really building that proof. So your focus should be in getting proof at the beginning. If you think you're just going to turn on a community, charge on the front end, and send some traffic to it and you're going to make sales. Not unless you are an incredible copywriter and somehow you just have magic words. But even then, it's all just words without proof. So you really need proof. Proof is everything. You could have just a couple of lines, a couple of sentences on a page. If you've then got 100 testimonials below it of videos and stuff of people just saying over and over how amazing you are. So proof is everything. And the final point is that you want to make things fun and easy. Communities don't have to be stuffy, boring places. They want to be fun places where people connect and they have some fun. Don't make it feel like it's a corporate meeting that people know they have to turn up to, but it's a bit boring. Make things lighthearted. Obviously, you want to make it focused on the goal of the community itself, but still have fun in there, get to know people, make it a place that you want to hang out and you would like to invite people into. So really try to make the community a fun place to show up to and a fun place for you to hang out at. Don't just see it as a soulless business of numbers and people coming in and leaving. Really think of it as real people having a really good time, having a community, maybe getting some benefit out of it, whatever their goal is that they want, but make it more than just sort of a sterile business. Think of it as a community, think of it as a real people, and try to have fun of it, out of it, and make people also have fun. And think about it from that angle. How can I make this fun and easy for both them and myself as well? Now, I hope you found that useful. If you did, hit the like button. And also, as I mentioned before, if you would like more help growing your Skool community with YouTube, then I will link to our community in the video description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.